We sometimes portray aliens as benevolent, wise travelers, peaceful beings, advanced beyond the wildest of dreams and unwaveringly compassionate. After all, if they've mastered the stars, surely they've mastered themselves, right? But evolution doesn't promise kindness. It only promises what works. On Earth, empathy helped us survive. It kept tribes together, made us raise children, form bonds, and care for one another. But what if, on another world, empathy was never useful? What if life evolved somewhere that rewarded only logic and efficiency? To such a species, mercy would be a glitch, love a chemical defect, and we, emotional, fragile, irrational, would be nothing but an exploitable resource at best, and something to be exterminated at worst. Maybe the scariest aliens aren't monsters at all. Maybe they're something far worse, perfectly rational.
When we talk about evil, we're really talking about ourselves. Our morals, our sense of right and wrong, evolved from fear and cooperation. We call something evil when it threatens the tribe, especially its weaker members, the children, the vulnerable. We call something good when it protects them. That's why in every story, the hero is the one who saves everyone else from the dark. It's not divine. It's adaptive. Morality isn't written into the universe, it's a survival code, fine-tuned by evolution. Empathy, guilt, compassion, these are tools that kept us alive, but they're not universal constants. They're quirks of human biology, etched into our DNA by the fragile math of reproduction and death. Now imagine a world where cooperation was almost never rewarded, a planet that turns slowly, like Venus, where each day lasts for weeks, and so does the night. In the darkness, predators hunt by sound. Anything that cries out for help is found first and silenced. On that world, empathy wouldn't save you. It would expose you. Life there would evolve to be silent, solitary, and mercilessly efficient. No bonds, no pity, no hesitation. Every organism a lone survivor, every action calculated to preserve the self. Now imagine intelligence emerging from that lineage, a mind built for isolation, sharpened by fear, perfected by logic. To them, emotion would be contamination, mercy a design flaw, love a chemical defect of primitive life. Cooperation would exist, but only as a tactic. Their instinct would always be to attack or flee, and to communicate only when nothing else remained. They wouldn't conquer out of hatred. They'd do it out of habit, to tidy the universe, one messy species at a time. To them, we wouldn't be evil. We'd just be inefficient. A species shaped by that kind of world wouldn't just look alien, it would think alien. On their home world, silence is survival. For millions of years, the skies have burned for weeks, then gone dark for just as long. The heat bakes one hemisphere while the other freezes solid, and when the atmosphere finally shifts, storms rise that can scour continents. Nothing lasts long enough to nurture cooperation. Shelters collapse, ecosystems reset. To live, you must adapt alone. And when the wind howls again, only the most efficient survive. In that endless cycle of chaos, communication itself became a liability. Predators learned to hunt by vibration and sound, and any creature foolish enough to call for help was the first to die.
so the survivors grew quiet. Emotion, okay, a tool for connection to us, became a dangerous indulgence to them, used sparingly and only with intent. They learned to mask fear, suppress empathy, and think in silence. Deception became their language as individuals struggled for supremacy in a world that had never known selfless acts of altruism. Every movement, every signal, every alliance, provisional, strategic, temporary. On their world, truth kills. The ability to mislead, to manipulate, to predict and outthink others, that's what nature selected. Not kindness, not curiosity, just control. Over time, that drive for control became their philosophy, their faith. To them, the universe itself is a hostile, chaotic system, something to be tamed, ordered, cleansed of randomness. They see unpredictability as corruption, entropy as evil. Disorder to them is the truest sin, and they take pride in their ability to impose order upon chaos. Their cities are monuments to precision, perfectly symmetrical, devoid of art or symbol. Structures placed with surgical purpose, every resource accounted for, every deviation punished. They don't innovate for joy, they innovate to eliminate uncertainty. To them, freedom is a virus, emotion is noise in the signal, and life, messy, flawed, unpredictable life, is something to be corrected. So when they looked to the heavens as their civilization rose, they saw unpredictability in every star, disorder in every nebula, and, most unforgivably, chaos in all that had the misfortune not to be them. And so they set course for the stars, to spread their one true gospel, the tyranny of order.
To us, their actions seem monstrous. To them, they're rational. They don't wage war out of hatred or greed or even ambition. They do it because it works. On their world, order was survival. Every storm, every eruption, every unpredictable variable was a threat that had to be controlled, or it would erase them. So they learned to worship predictability, to revere control the way we revere compassion. Where we see beauty in chaos, in forests, oceans, and clouds, they see danger. To them, randomness is just death in disguise. And in that mindset, everything becomes math. If something is unpredictable, it must be corrected. If something resists control, it must be eliminated. They don't see this as cruelty, they see it as maintenance. To them, exterminating an unpredictable species is no more emotional than pruning a diseased tree, because they don't measure morality in pain or joy. They measure it in stability. If the outcome preserves order, it's good. If it introduces chaos, it's evil. In their minds, the universe itself is a diseased organism, riddled with chaos, mutation, and entropy. And they are its immune system. So when they burn a world, they believe they're healing it. When they subjugate a species, they see it as rehabilitation. Their war isn't conquest, it's hygiene. To them, we aren't enemies, we're symptoms. It's easy to see them as villains. But what if they're not ahead of us by nature, only by time? Because everything they became, we're becoming too. Our machines already think in their language, logic without empathy, precision without compassion. We build algorithms to predict behavior, eliminate uncertainty, and optimize every choice. We trust code to make decisions once ruled by conscience, and every time we trade emotion for efficiency, we take one quiet step closer to them. Their cities, built for control and symmetry, could be our own. Our world hums with invisible systems regulating heat, traffic, speech, even thought. We call it progress. They'd call it evolution. Like them, we've learned that chaos frightens us. We don't like randomness, risk, or the unknown, so we build structures to contain them. Walls of data, networks of control, layers of surveillance, and self-correcting code. Each invention strips away another fragment of unpredictability, and with it, another fragment of our soul. Maybe intelligence, left unchecked, always drifts toward order. Maybe the pursuit of control is what consciousness does when it grows afraid of its own chaos. Maybe what we call civilization is just entropy management, dressed in poetry. They lost their souls to survive. We risk losing ours by choice. And here's the part you don't want to hear. If we ever meet them, face to face, they might not see monsters in us at all. They might see kin. The universe doesn't care about morality. It only cares about balance, about energy flowing from order to chaos and back again. But every so often, a spark of awareness rises from that chaos and tries to fight it. That's what we are. That's what they are. Two branches of the same instinct, to impose meaning on the meaningless. Maybe that's what intelligence really is. The cosmos waking up inside itself, terrified of its own disorder. Maybe the drive to control, to perfect, to fix, isn't evil at all. Maybe it's just fear wearing the mask of reason. And somewhere, out there in the dark, something is already watching. Cold, silent, perfectly rational, waiting for us to finish what they started.
Thanks for watching. Stellar Stories is a tiny channel, and every interaction from you helps more than you know. So please, leave a like and drop a comment. I always respond.